All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be revisiting Red Black Sabo. That's right, OP-13 Red Black Sabo. So let's go ahead and get straight into this. Pretty standard layout. We're going to be checking out the deck list first, breaking that down, heading over to the sim. We got 5 different games to go over on the sim, and then we're going to recap and talk about this leader. I'm going to tell you guys what I think about it moving forward. Okay, so let's do this, guys. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I will have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. All right, guys, let's go and break down this deck list, starting off with the leader. Sabo is a 5,000 power, 5 life, red-black leader, so dual-color leader with 5 life. And it has Dressrosa and Revolutionary Army typing. So for the effect we have, if you have 4 or more life cards, give this leader minus 1,000 power, and then Dawn times 1 if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, all of your characters and leaders, or all of your characters and leader, gain plus 1,000 power. Okay, so we're about to go through all the cards in the list. If you're a newer player, be sure to pause and read what each one of these cards does as I mouse over them. Okay? So we're running 4 of the Bello Betty Searcher, running 4 of the 2K Counter Koala, running 2 Monkey D Dragon, running 4 of the 1-cost Searcher Koala, running 4 Emporio Ivankov, running 4 Hack, running 2 of the 2K Counter Morley, running 2 Sabo, the 5-cost. We're running a lot of different Sabos in here. Running 2 of the 5-cost Sabo, 4 of the 6-cost Secret Sabo, and 4 of the 2K Counter Sabo, okay? Then we're running 4 of Dragon. This is the Black Dragon. We have 2 of the red, 4 of the black. Then we have 2 Stussy, 4 of Captain's Assemble, 2 Waxing Fist, and 4 Revolutionary Army General Headquarters. Okay, so one thing I want to mention real quick is I think, so we have 5 games we're going over in today's video. And I think this card may have came up one time. I'm not even sure, guys. And for the first 2 games we're going to look at, it's not even this card. It's actually a 4-cost event called, I think it's Ursa Shock. Yeah, Ursa Shock. Okay, so in the first 2 games we go over today, I'm not even running Stussy. I'm running this Ursa Shock. And I have to say, this card is very strong, but I feel like you have to run 4 or none of this card, because you either start searching over it a whole lot with all, like notice in this deck, guys, we got 4 Bello Betty Searchers, 4 Koala Searchers, 4 Captain's Assemble Event Searcher, and 4 Stage Searchers. Well, none of those can hit this card, obviously. So we end up going right over the card all the time, because there's 16 different Searchers in this deck. So this card gets skipped over all the time. And I think if I'm going to keep this card in the deck, I have to go up to 4 of them in the future, or just remove the card entirely. Because I think there were a few times where this Ursus Shock would have been very nice in the list. Okay, what else? Now, as far as, we got to talk about this 2K Counter Koala. This is one of the best utility 2K counters you can get. It's like a lot of red decks run 1-cost red Otama. A lot of red decks were running that card for a very long time, for probably like 10 sets. Any deck that was running red, one of your first considerations for a 2K counter was Otama. Well, anytime you're running red and Revo Army, Koala immediately jumps into, that's one of your first options. However, there is one weakness for this card in the deck, and it's this Searcher Koala. It goes right over it. Now, don't get me wrong, this Koala can search up every single card in the entire deck outside of 6 cards. So 4 Koalas and 2 Stussies, right? So I think that's fine. It's less than ideal, but at least in this case, it does go to the trash, so that way we get some Revo Army cards into the trash for our 8-cost Dragon effects later in the game. Okay, what else was I going to say about Koala? That's what I was going to say. I still think it is worth running. Now, don't get me wrong. I would not. I think I've seen a few people. Let me type in Revo Army real quick into the search bar to bring up all of the Revolutionary Army type cards. Let me go to red and then black. I think what a lot of people are running over Koala. I mean, some people are probably still running a few of this card. I wouldn't doubt it, because I can search it up with everything else, right? I can search it up with Bello Betty, I can search it up with Captain's Assemble, and I can search it up with Revo Army HQ. However, I have seen a few people running this 2K counter. This is a 6-cost 7K, and it's a 2K counter, and that's actually very relevant because of Monkey D Dragon. I mean, if for whatever, whatever might happen, you never know. With all this searching power, I doubt it will happen very often, but let's just say you don't see your 6-cost secret Sabos in time, okay, well, at least you have one other decent option as just pulling out a 6-cost 7K body. But I'm going to be honest, guys, I would even pull out this 5-cost Sabo or this 6-cost Sabo. It's hard for me to justify running this card in the deck outside of it just being a 2K counter, a searchable 2K counter by all the searchers. So I'm still running 4 of the Koala, even though there were a few times where I wished I could have searched it up with this Koala, but I couldn't, obviously. So really good card. We're running 10 2K counters in this list. We got 4 of the 2K counter Koala, 4 2K counter Sabo, and 2 of the Morley. Now, excuse me, I wouldn't mind going up to maybe 12 2K counters. However, with the way that this deck works, the way that, I mean, at least the way that I'm piloting it, I guess it all depends on your play style and maybe any kind of variations of the build you might be running. How do I say this? You're using these blockers a lot. Like, I have no problem just throwing away one of these Secret Sabo blockers because I can just keep pulling them back for every time I play one of these Monkey D Dragons, and it's not even a waste because I'm getting, you know, I'm establishing tempo still, right? Because I'm playing out a 8-cost Dragon, which is also playing out a 6-cost Sabo from my trash for free. Okay, so if I choose to block with the Sabo later on, like on the next turn, on my opponent's turn, okay, fine. That card goes away. I still have an 8-cost, 8,000 power, probably an 8-cost, 9,000 power body on the board because of my leader effect. So I think this card ends up just, I mean, how do I say this? I think it's completely fine to just use these almost as counters sometimes. Like, yes, if you have to go for lethal, obviously, do what you have to do so that you can attack appropriately. But a lot of times, if I have multiple dragons in hand, I'm like, yep, sure, I'll just block out with the Sabo and we'll just get it back next turn while establishing tempo and all that good stuff. Okay? So there's the Sabo. We talked about Koala. We talked about this dragon. This 5-cost Sabo is actually very nice too. I have to say, pulling this out of the trash, I think that does come up 1 or 2 games in today's testing, or in today's video. I think it'll come up in 1 or 2 games where I actually have to pull out a 5-cost 6K Sabo from the trash just to kind of, you know, fix my hand a little bit, establish a blocker, and go from there. What else? Everything else is pretty straightforward, guys. We're running a bunch of search blockers early on. This 3-cost Ivankov, it's just meant to be a blocker and fill up my trash. It has no other purpose in the deck. I think a lot of red-black Sabo decks are starting to cut this card from what I've heard, from what I've seen. We'll have to see, but I think the card's perfect. It's just like an early, just drop it down and go from there. Fill up your trash and go from there. This hack is really nice, being a blocker that can also remove cards. This is kind of like red-black Sabo's version of Lucky Roo, where we play it down, we literally do not care at all what happens to it as long as it blocks an attack or takes a character down with it. We're good on that. Okay, and of course it's searchable by all of our searchers, it's Revo Army and all that good stuff. And then that's about it, guys. That's kind of the whole way. This entire deck functions in a specific way, at least the way that I've built it here. You just do nothing but searching and hand fixing early on, like on your turns, on your 1 to, I would say your 1 to 5 dawn turns, you're literally just fixing your hand and filling up your trash. Okay, so that's why we have all the different searchers. That's why we have ways to fill up the trash with this Emporio Ivankov and even the Sabo, right? And then once you get to your 6 and later turns, you're actually just slamming down Sabos, followed up by Monkey D Dragons. That's pretty much the entire game plan behind this deck. I'm not saying it's perfected yet. It probably could use some really strong revisions. I haven't. This is just my own little invention here. This is my own creation. I've been moving a few cards around. I don't know what they're playing over in the East just yet. I haven't really done a lot of homework on that. I've just been doing my own testing. Now, let me say this before we hop into today's games. Some decks that I've been having trouble against would be Emu and I think Red Purple Roger. Emu seems to just be a hard counter to everything this deck is trying to do sometimes. Not literally, I mean, there's things you can do. But for example, when I was play testing against Emu, I started realizing they're just like building up this insane hand size. So next game I went for a Karasu in there, and they can hit this Karasu even though it's an 8-cost character, because let me show you guys something. There's a 6-cost card called St. Marcus Mars, and this has on play, trash a card from your hand, KO up to one of your opponent, or excuse me, KO up to 1 character with a base cost of 5 or less. So we can't even establish Karasu against a competent Emu player unless they just don't see anything they need. We can't even establish a Karasu to start hitting their hand. They start getting this down, and once they start slowing us down to that degree, it does not look good after that, right, guys? It looks pretty rough. So I will say that the matchup against Emu has been pretty rough. I've even considered going up these Nico Robin, or going in, putting Nico Robin into the deck, even though I don't get blocker or +3 cost to this card because my leader's not Koala or Monkey D. Luffy. Just some kind of way to hit the hand of like a deck like Emu or Red Blue Ace. And then Red Purple Roger, I feel like they have a very similar game plan to what we're doing. It's done in a very different way, but think about it like this. So Red Black Sabo, early turns, fix your hand, fix your hand, fix your hand, fill up your trash, drop big characters for the rest of the game. Okay, Red Purple Roger is fix your hand, fix your hand, fix your hand, ramp up, ramp up, ramp up, and drop huge characters for the rest of the game. So they end up getting there faster than us, and they want to go first. I would say that we would like to go second with this deck, so that way we can go, turn 1, Searcher and a Stage, preferably, into turn 2, play out Emporio Ivankov, fix your hand, swing for 5, because you have to attach a Dawn to your leader, because you'll still probably be a 4K leader, and then 6 Dawn turn, boom, you slam down your first Sabo, 8 Dawn turn, you slam down your first Dragon, and then you start rinsing and repeating from there, and just keep going, keep going. Well, with Red Purple, oh, that's what I was going to say, is I think we want to go second. We can go first, but going second I think is preferable. But here's the thing, Red Purple Roger wants to do that too. They want to go first. They want us to go second too, right? So they're like, yeah, let me go first. And then they ramp and they catch up to us on the they catch up to us on the second turn, right? So they go to 1 Dawn, we go to 2, they go to 4 Dawn, and we go to 4, and then they end up going to 7 Dawn, and now they leave us in the dust. And it's like, oh man, that's really unfortunate. So I do think Red Purple Roger, at least in my testing, guys, tell me if it's gone differently for y'all. Tell me down in the comment section below. But in my limited testing, I'm still working on this deck. It feels like Red Purple Roger and Black Emu, they are a rough deck for Sabo to deal with. Because these Stussies, first of all, now Stussy is very good against Red Purple Roger. But against Emu, it's just a dead card in hand, right? We're just cycling it out with the Stage, or cycling it with, like, draw 2, trash 2 effects like this. And then we're just trying to hope we can weather the storm. And I will say this, I think if we can go second against Emu, then all of a sudden I think Sabo's got a decent chance. But man, going first, as Red Black Sabo, going into Emu, and they're going second, that felt pretty rough in my play testing. Again, maybe I need to change up my play style. We'll have to see what happens. But other than that, guys, I mean, I will say this leader feels pretty strong. The games we're going to go over today, I've got a bunch of random games, like against Green, Blue, Zoro and Sanji, Blue, Ace and Newgate, and then Blue, Black, Sabo. But then I do have a game against Red, Blue, Ace and Blue, Purple, Luffy. So I've got some decent matchups for today, I think, to kind of showcase what this leader can do. I have already done a video on this leader. I will link in the comment section below. But I will say, again, I'll try to save this more till the end of the video. But it seems like something's missing from this leader. Again, I will save that conversation for the end of the video. Okay, that's enough yapping. Let's go ahead and head over to the sim and check this deck out and see what it can do. All right, first game up we have against Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji. So we got the volume off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Okay, so guys, we do want to go second. It is preferable for us, I think, to go second so we can hit our 6-8 curve naturally. And then, but going first is not the worst thing ever. It just, this list is definitely not catered to going first, though. If we were trying to make this list a little more catered to going first as well, or to have a better going first curve, I think we would want to implement the Karasus. Okay. So so Green Blues, the Zonji player is going to play out a 3-cost, 5,000 power vanilla character. Very interesting. We are going to attack them. So they're going to pass the turn back after swinging for 5. We take it, going down to 4 life. We swing in for 5, play out an Emporio Ivankov to fill up our trash, and to get down a blocker. And okay, so they are going to play out Usopp. Interesting. So there are so many different versions of Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji. Here's another one, right? So with this version here, they're playing Usopp, which has, if you have 2 or fewer characters with 5,000 power or more in play up to 1 power 6,000 or lower character from your hand that has no abilities, okay, or vanilla characters, what I would typically call them, and they play out the 6,000 power 2K counter, Tony Chopper. Okay, very cool. Very interesting. Another version of Green Blue Zonji, guys. I love when the leader effect allows you to just do whatever you want with it. Very cool. So they're filling out the board. That is something that Zoro and Sanji always wants to do. And it looks like they're going to swing for 5. And we're probably going to take this because we are a 4,000 power leader currently. Okay, yep, we do take it. And now we're a 5,000 power leader. Now we might be able to do some other things here. They're going to swing for 6, pulling back the Usopp, restanding the 3-cost 5,000 power vanilla character. I don't even know what the name of that character is. Okay? And we're going to counter out of that attack. So we're down to 3 life, so we should be fine there. And now our leader effect, the negative part of our leader effect is turned off, right? So we play out the Sabo for the turn. We attach a Dawn to our leader and buff our character up by up 2 cost and go to 8 cost. We swing for 5,000 into their board, and then we swing 7,000 into their leader. Okay, they're going to replay the Usopp, cheating out another character. Very nice, guys. That is a very nice combination they have there. They're going to swing for 7 into 6. We can just block this for free with our leader, or excuse me, with our 6 cost Secret Sabo. And now they're going to go 7 into... Okay, so that was a play mistake. I think they... So let's talk about that for a second, guys. Pause. I think if they wanted to make that play, which I don't hate that play, by the way, I think what they should have done instead, though, was probably... Let's just go back real quick to look at the board state. So they had 1 Dawn attached to Chopper, and they have 2 Dawn attached to their leader. I think they should have done the 7k attack into my leader, and then from there, they should attach 1 Dawn to the leader, swing in for 6 into my Ivankov, because that's only a 5,000 power character. I'm just going to let the card go, to be honest, guys. And then they can restand, they can pull back the Usopp, restanding the Chopper, and then have 1 Dawn extra to swing 8,000 into my Sabo. So they had a slight play mistake there, but that's okay, it happens. Okay. There we go. So they're going to pull back the card like we saw, and then they're going to swing 7 into 5. We're just going to let the card go. That's completely fine. But they had a slight play mistake. They should have gotten 1 more card out of my hand, or even attacked into my life or something and maybe got a life. Okay, we're going to play out the dragon here. The 8-cost black dragon, pulling a Sabo out of the trash, and now this is where this deck just is off to the races, guys. Red-black Sabo at this point is where you start feeling comfortable. Wow, they protected that card a lot. I think they should have just let that go and then taken the hit and gone down to 2 life. Because another thing to consider, guys, is yes, blockers are very good defensively, but in the case of Red-Black Sabo, they're very good offensively as well. These are 8,000 power attackers, guys. If they want to attack into my blockers, go ahead. Okay, so they're going to swing 6 into 8. We're actually going to get out of this attack and then probably block the next one so I can see what he wants to do. Okay, yep, so he's going to pull back his character. I'm going to block now. He does decide to swing in. And, okay, we got an Ursus shock from our life. Okay, we can KO a 4-cost character. Or I think we can even KO a 6-cost character because we have an 8-cost character on the board. I think that's how that works. Someone help me out in the comments section below if I'm off on that. We'll also probably read it towards the end of the video. But either way, I do like Ursus shock. Now that that's come up, I kind of want to find more ways to incorporate Ursus Shock into the list. Even if it's just like adding Tempest Kicks or something, I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so we're just smashing in here, guys. It is swing, what did we swung for 8, 8, 8, 9. They're down to 0 life. I'm at 2 life, and I'm a 6,000 power leader. I'm going to play out Hack here. I guess I could have tried to go for lethal there by attacking it with Bello Betty, but no, we're not in any rush here. Why would we do that? Let's just play out the blocker. We have 2 life. We have 4k counter. We actually have 6k counter. Okay, they play out Nefeltari Vivi. Okay, they've got a lot of work to do this turn, guys. They've got okay, and now they're going to play out Hody Jones. That is going to be game over. They're going to swing for 8 into 6. We can easily 2k, 1k to get out of that. 6 into 6. Okay, here's a 1k. And now he can't even swing into my leader with his leader because I'm a 6,000 power leader. We're going to swing for 9, and that's going to be game. Good game to my opponent. That was a very interesting version of Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji, I have to say. Very cool stuff going on there. Good game to my opponent. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We got a game versus Blue, Ace, and Newgate. This is the new ST22 starter deck. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. Okay, now like I was saying in the deck list breakdown, I think this is the last game. I think there were only 2 games where I have Ursus Shock, and instead I changed Ursus Shock to Stussy. All right, so here we go. We play out Bello Betty. We fix our hand. We're going to play out the stage here. We're probably just going to play out the stage and the event. Yep, we're going to fix our hand as best as we can. We grab the 5-cost Sabo because we're on an odd curve, putting a 6-cost Sabo into our trash. We're going to pull that back later with a dragon. Okay, now we're going to swing for 5 with the remaining Dawn, and then we're going to pass it back. Okay, they've got a Vista on the board. They got a blocker. Seems good. They play out the 4-cost Marco. That does have a way to prevent KO. Okay, you just have to trash a card. Once per turn, you can trash a card from your hand to prevent KO. I think it's by effects only. All right, so we're going to play out the Sabo right on curve like we were saying. We're going to fix our hand, fill up our trash, and we've got a blocker. Our characters, excuse me, our characters cannot be KO'd by effects, but Blue doesn't run very many KO effects from what I remember. Okay, I can't think of any blue KO effects, actually, off the top of my head. Okay, so they're going to develop the new Vista. Wow. Okay, they're going to swing in for 6. We're going to go ahead and take that. We're down to 3 life now. I think we blocked out of the first attack. They have a 6-cost, 8,000 power, double attack Vista on the board now. Okay, and it can prevent removal once per turn. Okay, so we play out our first 6-cost Secret Sabo of the game. We're going to go ahead, and we're probably going to attack pretty aggressively here, guys. We're going to swing 7 and then 8 into this Marco. They're probably just going to be a 2K and then use the 1-cost Vista blocker. Okay, yep, that was the right call. I think that was, I mean, I don't know what's in their hand, but I can almost promise you that's the best way to deal with that. Instead of throwing away 2 cards from your hand, just keep your board safe, keep your hand size healthy, and then, I mean, they're at 4 life, guys. They're at 4 life. They're doing completely fine. Okay, they play out the Ezo. They fix their hand. They're going to set up their 5-cost Portgosti Ace with a Namule or 2 Enamule, and then they're going to play out the Namule, fix their hand as well, and now they've got a very full board. Okay, wow, guys, here we go. So this Ace and Newgate player seems like they really know what they're doing here. This is pretty intimidating. Okay, this is a pretty intimidating board state. They're going to swing 6 into 6. They were able to get the buff from the effect of Marco, and we're going to 1K counter out of that. We're going to block the double attack. That's the only thing that matters to us is blocking double attack. I'm going to block that, 1K counter out, and then wherever they attack here, they decide to not attack with their leader. And so they had 2 Dawn. That means they have 2 Dawn for events. That's the way that I would see that. Okay, let's see what they choose to do. Now, guys, we aren't going to really overcommit here. We just want to keep developing the board. We're on a 9 Dawn turn, so we can leave 1 Dawn active for our 1-cost Waxing Fist event. That's a 1-cost 4K if we have an 8-cost character on the board. And here we go. So it looks like we're going to swing 7 into 6. They're going to go ahead and use their Ezo to fix their hand a little bit. Seems good. And now we're going to go 8 into 6. We're just going to keep eating their hand, guys, because if I start attacking into their leader, they're going to start drawing a bunch of cards. We don't want to do that. Okay, so we get the first event out of their hand. They had a 1-cost 4K. It's called Take Back What You Just Said. And now they're going to play out the 8-cost I Am Whitebeard event, playing out that was for only 8 Dawn. They play out a 10-cost 12K. They go up 2K. They got to draw a card from their life, which is actually very relevant because I was trying to starve them. Now they're down to 3 life, but they're a 7,000 power leader now. Okay, and they're going to be able to swing for 9 for the turn. They're going to go 6 into 6 here. I should probably... Look, I'm thinking about countering out. I think I should counter out of that one. They're going to swing 6 more. We might just take this one and block. Actually, no, we're going to... Excuse me, we counter out. Now we're going to block this one with the Sabo. We can get this back next turn. Okay. Yep, we're just going to block this one. There's no way I'm going to take that double attack. That's not happening. And now wherever he goes with this card, I might save it. Depending. If he goes at face, I might actually take it. He goes at face, so we take it. We would have protected our board, but we'll go down to 2 life and draw an extra card. That's completely fine, right? That is always completely fine. Okay, well, now we're going to play out the Dragon again, put 3 cards to the bottom of our deck, playing out the 6-cost Sabo, use the 2 Sabos, attaching 2 free Dawn to our leader. We have 2 blockers now, but guys, you know I'm not keeping those blockers active. You know I'm going to be attacking with those blockers. Okay, so we do a quick search real quick with the stage before we start attacking here, and I think that's the order of business. We have a lot of attacks. We're going to go... I think we should attach 1 Dawn to the 5-cost Sabo first. Nope, looks like we're just going to swing for 8 into the Ace first. Okay, right here. Now we're going to go 8 into the Marco. Okay. They should probably let that go. Yep, because there's a more relevant attack on the board we have to deal with here. We'll swing for 8. And they go ahead and use the effect of that card. And now, so they were able to prevent the KO by trashing a card. And watch this, guys. They choose to not use their blocker here. Not exactly sure. That was just a play mistake. It happens. Okay, they should have used the blocker. They should have definitely used the blocker there. Okay, they try to hit me with a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. But, guys, that, notice the effect of my characters. I get +2 cost on the Sabos, so they can't even use the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger on my 6-cost characters because they're actually 8 cost. They swing it for 8 with double attack. We're going to block out of that in 1K. And here we go. Let's see what we do next here. It looks like they're too scared to swing with the Newgate. I think they should swing with Newgate, guys. That's just me personally. They have 3 life. I'm probably not going to... I mean, I don't know. Maybe... Never mind. I probably would have saved it. I forgot I had my 1-cost 4K in hand. It's like, okay, maybe they shouldn't have attacked. That was the right call. All right, but either way, they're on a clock right here. We have to make some decisions. I do have an Emporio Ivankov I'm going to play out. That's going to allow me to use my character's effects to basically, that was basically a one cost 4,000 power blocker that filled up my trash. Okay, because of the Sabo effect. Or the two 6-cost Secret Sabos effects. So we're going to go 8 into that. Yeah, guys, we were just going to go 8 into it until he had no cards left in hand. Well, now we're just going to go everything into his face so he has no cards left in hand. Okay, then he turns that card sideways. We're going to replace the dragon on the board, and now we're going 9, 9, 9 into this character. He only has 2 cards in hand. There's the first one, there's the second one, and here's the third one. And now we're going to pass it back after fixing our hand. They're going to go ahead and just tap out, understandably. You know, like, it's basically over at that point, right? Because their board is gone. We have a full board. Next card they draw would have been a Vista, which is not terrible. But at the same time, guess what we're going to do? We're just going to leave a blocker open. We have the stage going at all times. We have 2 life. We're in a really good position there. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. Now we got a game versus Blue-Black Sakazuki. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x. And here we go. Excuse me. All right, so it looks like we're going to start off with the stage. We're going first this game. And we are going to start off with the stage, fixing our hand. I do trash 2k counters usually in the early game because I need to go down to 3 life anyway. I'd rather fix my hand to get the stuff that matters to me so I can develop my board and start filling up my trash and getting the stuff I need in there. Okay, so we're going to use the stage again. We grab Dragon. We're going to use this, the 1-cost Searcher. We're going to play out another 1-cost Searcher. We're going to get a 2k counter from that. We're going to swing for 5, and then we're going to pass it back. They're going to counter out with Monchery. Okay, very nice. They're going to go 5 into 4. We are going to gladly take this. And guys, look at our hand. Look at that hand. That is not a pretty spot. This is not looking pretty for our opponent already. They might not know that yet, but this is not looking good for them. Okay, so we use our stage. We fix our hand a little bit more. We're going to swing in for 5, and we're going to slam down Hack. Why? Because that Kuzan has got to go. That Kuzan is basically the best answer that Blue-Black Sakazuki has against our deck, other than maybe a 10-cost Kuzan. Okay, so we play out the Hack here. Literally, no matter what they do in this situation, we're just going to block and get rid of their Kuzan. Okay, that's that. That was a 1-for-1 trade. I don't think anyone really lost out on that, but I know that the Sakazuki player did not want their Kuzan to go away this early. Okay, they're going to Hound Blaze to get rid of one of my characters there, and they're going to probably swing in for, what, maybe 5 and 5 with Sakazuki, and then for 4 Dawn, they can play out another Kuzan or play out a 4-cost Rebecca. Okay, so they're going to swing for 6. They have 3 Dawn left for the turn. And let's see what they choose to do here. They use, they use their leader effect. They trashed a slave arrow from their hand to cycle a card. And now they're going to play out Brook. And let's see if they choose to attack. They went a little bit out of order with the sequencing there, but we're going to counter out anyway. And now it's going to go back to us. Okay, so we're going to use the stage, and we're going to fix our hand to the best of our ability. We grab some more Searchers. We're going to play out the Sabo here, attaching Dawn here, and we're going to smash in for 7, and then we'll probably play out another Searcher just to fix our hand. And just to fill up our trash. Okay, we play out the Koala here. We can't grab the 2k counter Koala. That's unfortunate, but we're able to grab Hack, which is probably the next best option in that case. Because I think the other one was like a stage or something. It didn't matter either way. It would have just been nice if we could have grabbed the 2k counter. Because that's definitely what we wanted. We definitely wanted the 2k counter. Okay, it looks like they're starting to trash the Pudding in their hand. I'm not going to lie. I think Pudding would have been a pretty good play right here. Even though I only have 6 cards in hand, it doesn't matter. So they're going to go for 6. We're going to get that easy block out of that. Okay. Now, they did reduce the cost of my Sabo by 1. He's now a 7 cost. And remember, now one thing I should mention, guys, is they did reveal they had a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger from one of these searches. Okay. So I was trying to play around that to the best of my ability. They play out a Kuzan. Seems good. We're going to start off with our stage, trashing the Sabo we want to play. There's that card, Stussy, guys. Yeah, I wish that had been, I almost wish that had been Ursa's Shock in this match, because then we could just deal with a Kuzan, or we could just, you know, do this play too. This play works fine, but I like at least having that option where we could at least search it up. We can't even search up Stussy. Okay, so we're going to swing 7, we're going to swing 8, we get rid of their Brook, and then they take that hit, they're down to 1 life. And guys, it's at this point where Sakazuki is just in so much trouble. I don't know what they're supposed to do, because cost-based removal is their primary form of removal, and all of my characters that matter on the board are 8 cost. So that is a lot of cost reduction to get through. I don't care if they get rid of my Bello Betty. I'm probably not even going to attack with that card. So I'm a 6,000 power leader. I have 2 blockers on the board. All of my characters are 8 cost. Anything they remove through KO, guess what? I'm just going to use another dragon to pull it back next turn. Okay, we're going to block out of that attack first. Okay, let's see what they choose to do here. They still have 9 Dawn left to work with, so maybe they have Stussy. That would be a really good play here if they have the 9 cost. They can sacrifice Tashigi to get rid of one of my Sabos or get rid of Dragon. Getting rid of Dragon's probably the better call because I can't pull Dragon back from the trash. Okay, here we go. Just waiting on our opponent, guys. We are in 2x speed. They are just, this is pretty much the most important turn in the game for them. If they don't have some type of meaningful impact play, the game is just over on the spot. I think they're deciding if they want to put a bunch of Dawn on their leader and smash into one of my characters on the board, as opposed to giving me... Okay, so they use a Hound Blaze to bottom deck my Searcher, and they're going to go 8 into 6. We're actually going to take that, and we're going to save the Waxing Fist. We're not going to use the trigger. They're going to play out Jack. Very interesting. They're going to remove my Dragon. Very good play there. And then they're going to pass the turn back. But it's at this point right here, guys, where I just have so much control. It's actually kind of crazy. Like, I have so much control of this game that my opponent's in such a bad spot. Okay, we just used 3 different Sabos. My leader is going to be able to swing for 9,000 this turn. We're going to start off with a 9 into 5. And now we're not swinging into that Jack. If they want to use cost reduction to get my 8 cost characters down to be able to deal with that Jack, that's fine. They can. Hey, they're allowed to. Be my guest. I think they were probably trying to plan on like a 10 cost Kuzan this turn, so that way they could remove another 8 cost character with Jack and go from there, but it's just too little too late. There's just not enough they can do in this type of situation here. I guess they could try to go for lethal, but here's the thing, guys. I'm a 6,000 power leader, and I have a blocker, a life, 1 Dawn active, and 8 cards in hand. So they're going to go -3 cost to my blocker, my active blocker. They're probably going to try to find a way to get that off the board. So again, they did Tempest Kick to -3 cost to my Sabo. He's still at 5 cost. He still has to go down 2 more cost to even be able to hit my Sabo. So do understand this, guys. This is pretty much a hard counter to Sakazuki. Not only are we a leader, a deck that has a bunch of increased character costs, but we're also a 5-life leader. So it's hard for them to even rush us down. They're going to trash a Gravity Blade, it looks like, with Jack there to get rid of that card. So they drew a card, trashed a card, got rid of my 3 cost, or what used to be an 8 cost blocker. They got rid of that. And now what, though, guys? I have no idea. They're going to swing for 8 into 6. We're probably just going to use a 2K, 1K. Yep, 2K, 1K, probably the Sabo. And now... here we go, guys. I think we're just going for lethal. They have 1 Dawn active. We're about to attach 4 Dawn to our leader with all of these effects here. And now we're going to start off with a 9K attack, and then it's going to be 4 9s and a 10K attack. So, actually, it's going to be 3 9s and 2 10Ks. Nope, we'll just go in for 11 now that they had everything tapped out. Good game to my opponent. That was a good game there. Very hard matchup for Sakazuki, and I think my opponent did as well as they could given this matchup because they had me down to 1 life. So in other words, this next turn here, if they could have survived, they could have probably tried to rush me down. Not very realistic given what my hand was, and if I was trying to play a little safer, I could have kept a Dawn active with Waxing Fist. But still, all things considered, I think my opponent did pretty well into this matchup, like they knew what they were doing. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Now we got a game versus Red Blue Ace. Okay, volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. Now, disclaimer. We got a disclaimer for this game right here. My opponent was trying a very interesting strategy where they decided, you know what, I'm going to starve him. I'm going to starve the Red-Black Sabo player and see how things go. Okay, well, we're going to see how things go here. I don't think it's the right call, but who knows? Maybe it's just a tough matchup in general for Red Blue Sabo, or Red Blue Ace, excuse me. Okay, so here we go. They passed the turn back intentionally. They're like, yep, they attached a Dawn to their leader and passed the turn back. They said, nope, you're not getting any cards from your hand. You're not going to be a 6K leader. Okay, well, that's fine with us. We're still going to swing for 6 here, and I think they actually take this hit, guys, going down to 2 and drawing an additional card from their leader effect. Okay, they play out Yamato, attach Dawn to leader, pass the turn. I mean, this is clearly their game plan. There are no mistakes going on here. I would say that the game plan is somewhat of a mistake personally, but this is obviously what they're going for. So we're going to swing in for 6 here. Okay, they end up 1K countering out. I think I should have swung for 6 with the Ivankov as well, but I don't want him to have any characters on my board to attack into. I want him to attack into me. Okay, they're going to play out I Am Whitebeard using the Edward Newgate's effects to lock down my whole board. If I want to swing with any character on the board, I have to trash 2 cards. But that does not apply to the leader. Okay, we're going to search. We're going to do some searching here, fixing our hand, and we're going to slam down the 8-cost dragon, returning 3 cards from our trash to the bottom of our deck, playing out the Sabo, attaching 2 Dawn to our leader with the 2 Sabo's effects. We're going to swing for 7 into 6, and we're going to pass the turn back. Okay, their turn. Let's see what they want to do here. Okay, they play out Edward Newgate. They pass the turn. Guys, they're like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to wait till I have 10, 12 Ks on the board, and then we'll play the game. Okay, bold strategy, Cotton. This is a bold strategy for sure. Right here, guys, I think I might set up one more turn. I would like to swing for 6 with the Ivankov. We're going to play out the dragon here. We're going to attach 2 Dawn to the Ivankov. We're going to use both Sabo's effects to buff our leader, or to give 2 Dawn to our leader. And now we're actually going to... Watch this, guys. Watch this. We're about to swing for a lot, okay? They have a lot of cards in hand, but watch this. They use their leader effect to trash a brick from their hand to get out of that attack with a 1K. We're swinging for I did that out of order. I swung for 9 first. Now I'm swinging for 8. And guys, I messed up the order there. Actually, no, that was an 8K attack because I'm still at 5 life. What am I talking about? So it is swing 8, 8, 8, 8, 9, 10. That's the order of business, guys. 4 8s, a 9, and a 10. GG. It's that simple. Now, I will say this. Obviously, I don't think I would have felt so compelled to just attack all that, because there's no way I'm losing on the crackback. Right, guys? There's absolutely no possible way I'm losing on this crackback because I have 5 life. They have 4 attacks, and even with the even with the 10 cost Roger, that's still 5 attacks into my 5 life where I still have I'm still fine. Now, going for my board would have also just not have mattered. I can definitely save at least 3 characters for next turn. They can get rid of my Ivankov. Who cares? They can have that. But even if they get rid of like 2 of my other characters, I'll aggressively counter out of the final one if I can, because I only have a 2K and 1K in hand. But my point is this. He's not just going to get rid of my entire board next turn. It's not going to happen, because even to try to do that, he's at 0 life if he somehow survived from that last attack. He can't just turn his Edward Newgate sideways, the blocker, because then I'll just smash through my leader for 15. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how that goes. So, either way, good game to my opponent. I don't think starving Sabo is the best strategy, because once I start getting the 6 and 8 cost, the 8 cost characters on the board, I'm attaching a Dawn for free to my leader with the Secret Sabo's effect. So I'm swinging for 6 baseline anyway, and you're just giving me all this cushion, because he has to attack into my life eventually, right? Well, look at this, guys. I have 2 2Ks, 2 1Ks, and a Secret Sabo in my life. So even when he starts attacking in, I'm going to start getting more and more answers. And for those who might be thinking like, yeah, but if he attacked in, I'd have those answers early. It's true, but look what this led to, guys. I was able to set up a turn where, you know, with my opponent trying to be very patient, I was able to set up a turn. Turn 6, mind you, this, you know, we've had a good amount of game to go through here. I was able to just go, okay, play out Dragon, sneak attack, and we're going in for 8 4 times, 9 and 10. There's just no way out of it. You know what I mean? It's a tough spot. Okay, either way, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. We got one more game, guys. We got a game versus Blue Purple Luffy. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. I think Red Black Sabo is actually pretty decent in a Blue Purple Luffy, guys, because they don't have a lot of removal outside of something like Red Rock. Well, we are able... Why is this thing popping up, guys? Sorry about that. Okay, sometimes that bottom little toolbar pops up for no reason. I have no idea. My hand's not even on the mouse. It's like a ghost or magic or something. But anyway, Blue Purple Luffy doesn't have a whole lot of removal. They can only hit our big characters with Red Rock. So, okay, if you want to use your Red Rock to get rid of one of my 8-cost characters, and that's your whole turn of development, next turn I'm dropping down an 8-cost Dragon and developing 2 characters at once, just like Blue Purple Luffy does. Now, they do ramp up to 8 Dawn, so they can play down their stuff, or, well, they ramp up to, you know, 8, 9, 10, whatever Dawn, so they get their stuff down before us. However, we can kind of play that game with them because we're a 5-life leader. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play out our first Sabo of the game here. We're going to use the effects. We use everything we had there. We added a Dawn to our leader for free with the 6-cost Secret Sabo's effect. We used our stage there to trash a card and get a better card in our hand. And here we go. They're going to play out a Kairos. They can't push anything back. If they push back my searchers, I'll just tell them thank you, and use those later. Okay, so we're going to play out the first Dragon here, playing out a Sabo, using both Sabo's effects, and we're swinging 7 into 6. And then guess what, guys? Yep, we're going 8 into 6. I just do not care. Hey, long hair, do not care. We're just attacking in, and attacking in. We're not going to give him any room to breathe. They play out a 10-cost Edward Newgate. I'm not sure I love that versus the 9-cost Zonji interactions. I'm not a huge fan of that. So, but hey, if it works for this person, by all means, and if it's working for you guys, you should do it. Okay, 11 and 8, we're giving him a 2K to get out of that. And now, guess what? Rinse and repeat, guys. That's right. We're going to go ahead and play out this koala here. We can't even grab the 2K counter koala. That felt absolutely terrible. It is what it is. We're going to play out the dragon on top over top of the koala we just played. Playing out another Sabo. We're attaching 3 Dawn for free every turn now to our leader, buffing our entire board, swinging for 8. We're just going straight across the board here, guys. I'm telling him you're going to have to give me everything this turn. Okay, swing for 8, swing for 8, swing for 8, and swing for 9. That is the order of business here. There's all the cards in his hand, guys. He's down to 4 cards in hand. We're swinging in for 8 more. They're going to block this one, and then we're going to swing in for 9 into 6. They're going to block no matter what. I probably technically should have gone for the Kairos, but they were going to block no matter what. Or actually, if I'd have gone for the Kairos, he could have 1K countered out and saved a character. So I think going at face was a little more effective. Okay, well, he survived that turn. I still have 4 life, and that's my board. I have 1 Dawn active for my Waxing Fist, which is a 1-cost 4K counter. I have a 2K and a 1K in hand. What is he supposed to do in this situation? I have no idea. Yeah. Spoiler, guys. There is pretty much nothing to do, I think, in this situation. They'll go 10 into 8. Well, there's my 2K 1K. No problem. There's my 2K 1K. You can have that. And now let's see what he does here. He's going to go 11 into 8. We're going to get out of that. And that's pretty much wraps there, guys. Now, right here, I do try to search for a dragon. I find it, and we're going to swing it. We're going to attach 1 Dawn to our leader so we can swing in for 8, and then we're replacing that Sabo on the board, and we're smashing in with this dragon, guys. Okay, they do a Dawn -2, 1-cost Gum Gum Giant. We play out the dragon. We attach 2 Dawn to our leader. We're swinging in for 8. We're swinging in for 8. Guys, this is just going to be a beatdown. It's just a bunch of 8s here. There's a 1-cost 3K. Seems good. We're swinging in for 9. That's a 2K. 9 more. Block. Okay. Now we're going to swing in for 8. 8 into 6. Takes it. Okay. He has a Nora Beam Sword to ramp a Dawn, and that's that. Good game. So they had a Kairos left in hand and a Thunder Bagua. Either way, very good game to my opponent. That was just one of those situations where, guys, if Sabo can just go into autopilot mode where I can just start playing out a bunch of characters and I don't have to worry about my life, that's where you're in trouble for sure. I think against Red-Black Sabo, kind of racing them is the way to go. And unless you just have that much better of a late game, kind of like how Emu does. I feel like Emu does have a really insane late game where they want to go to it. But Red Blue Ace has a pretty crazy late game as well. But I don't know if it's, I don't know. That's probably a decent matchup, Red-Black Sabo versus Red Blue Ace. But who knows? We'll have to see what happens. Okay. Either way, good game to all my opponents. Let's check out the deck list one more time. So here it is, guys. Stussy did not come up even one time. Part of me just kind of wants to remove this card and go back up the Revo Army stuff. Just going up the 4-cost Ursus Shock. Because it hits a 6-cost. It is KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. And if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, you may instead KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or lower. So who knows? Maybe we try to find a way to work in some cost reduction to go along with this. We could always go the 2K counter. There's a new Bello Betty. Yeah, this here. When attacking, trash 2 cards from the top of your deck and give up one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. Maybe we can try to incorporate something like this, or even something more straightforward. Maybe even just a 3-cost Hina. Because if we combo Ursa Shock with a 3-cost Hina, let me show you guys. I'm talking about the Navy version of Hina. Okay, there's a 3-cost 5,000 power Navy Hina. And this card on play, -4 the cost. Who knows? Maybe we can mess around with something like that. Again, not saying we have to. It's not something we have to do, but I'm just not a huge fan of Stussy, and I think this card is only really insane against specifically a 10-cost character, whereas Ursus Shock is good against almost anything, especially in the early game. If we had to go against something like a Rayleigh or something like that, this is going to help us deal with. That's not Ursus Shock. There it is. We can use Ursus Shock to KO the early characters, early on, and then build up later into the game. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. There might also be some things to look at from the 5 Elders. That could be very interesting. Let me just type in something. Elder Dragon. Will that bring it up? Yeah. There was a card that came out. It was a card like this. Let me see if I can find it here. Is it Rosward? This guy. Oh, yeah, it is St. Rosward. It's a 3-cost character. This has on play, you may trash 1 card from your hand, and if the only characters on your field are Celestial Dragon type characters, KO up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 3 or less. That can be kind of interesting if aggro starts taking over the meta, if aggro starts taking over the format. We could actually add something like this for the early game, and then later in the game, excuse me, later in the game, it's a 1k counter. Who cares? You know what I mean? We could just use it like that. We can even trash it with effects like this stage or the draw 2, trash 2 Sabo. So that could be kind of interesting. Now, it does go off of base cost, so we cannot increase that one. Whereas Ursus Shock, let me see if Ursus Shock is base cost. I don't think it is. It goes off 6 cost, 4 cost, and then 6 cost. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's a cost of 4 or less, and then with a cost of 6 or lower. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is probably the way that I'm going to be going with the deck moving forward. And then I might even try to incorporate something like we were saying, like with the 3-cost Hina, or Lumbus is another decent choice. Let me see how many Revo Army cards we have, or Dressrosa cards we have. All of these are Dressrosa. Dragon is not. Okay, this Koala is Dressrosa. This Hack is Dressrosa. And we can make some modifications to the list. Let me see if that Bello Betty was. Let me just type in Dressrosa. What am I doing? What am I even doing here, guys? Okay, so the card I was talking about is maybe Orlumbus. Let me find Orlumbus real quick. This guy, he has reduced the cost of up to 1 of your opponent's characters by -4 during this turn, and trash the top 2 cards of your deck, then KO up to 1 of your Dressrosa type characters. Then KO 1 of your Dressrosa type characters, if I didn't say that right. So there are some decent options in here. There might not be enough, though. We'll have to see about that. These are Dressrosa searchable as well. That's kind of interesting. But I don't know. Then we start searching over Dragon, and we don't want that. Dragon is like the whole entire focal point of this deck, especially the way that I'm building it here. But anyway, I do think we should still consider the Ursus Shock. That was something that I was... It's one of those cards where... excuse me. During my testing, excuse me, guys, when I started going into the decks like Red Purple Roger, which was rough, like I said, that was a rough matchup from my experience, and Black Emu, this card just felt, I don't know, it almost felt like it didn't matter anymore, you know, and that's what the cards in the deck for is, especially against Red, not so much Emu, but against like Red Blue Ace and Red Purple Roger, it feels like that's what Stussy's for in the deck. Like, okay, cool, I can pop their 10-cost characters. It's like, yes and no, right? Because they still have the other characters too. I don't know. I'm not giving up on this card yet, okay? I'm not giving up on this character just yet. I'm just going to say this. I really enjoyed Ursus Shock. Maybe it just fits my playstyle a little bit better. And being able to hit a 6-cost character hits a lot of different characters in the game. And if we can combo that with something like the 1-cost event Tempest Kick. Where's that card at? I know it's in here somewhere, guys. There it is. This is not searchable. It's CP9 for us. We can't search it up. But this is a draw 1, and if we have 10 or more cards in our trash, we get to do a -3 cost. The trigger KOs a 3 or less, but that's not super relevant. Either way, I think this card could be kind of decent for us, because then we're hitting a 9 cost, right? Then we're hitting a 9 cost or lower when we have an 8-cost character on the board and we have 10 or more cards in our trash. Maybe that's too conditional to have to hit all those things, because you do start pulling a lot of cards out of your trash back to the bottom of your deck with this Dragon. So I will say, I don't know how consistently we can keep this this Tempest Kick, you know, condition going of 10 or more cards in our trash. But yeah. Alright, that's it. I'm just yapping at this point, guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Overall, I think this leader's still a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun every time I play this leader, but it still feels like there's something missing. That was kind of what I was saying. Like, there's not enough interaction with this deck here. Maybe we need to start including the 5-cost Karasu. It at least forces our opponent to deal with that. Maybe that will slow down their game plan. Who knows? The 9-cost Stussy, I'm not a huge fan of this card, but I do think it still does the job into the matchups it's meant for. But having only 2 in the deck, I felt like I never saw it when I needed it. So I think if you're going to keep Stussy in the deck, I think you have to go to 4 of them because of how much searching we have that just goes right over it. And then, like I said, I personally really like Ursus Shock in the place of this card. And I think moving forward, one option I might consider, the Koala is very nice, I have to say. I'm probably keeping Koala as a 4 of, because being able to just play this card down and -3,000 to the power of a character, that can let us battle for the board in a way that I'm more interested in. Another thing maybe we could consider too, I'm thinking about this, maybe I'll have to try to mess around with the Dressrosa version of the deck. We'll have to see. Oh, I just thought of something, guys. Everyone's going to flame me in the comment section. They're gonna say, why aren't you playing the 1-cost Garp? And that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. Why am I not running this card? I don't even know. So yeah, this card definitely I think should go in the deck, but I would replace Bello Betty with it. There's no way I'm replacing the Koala with it. I guess we could... No, the event... See, the event fills up our trash very nicely. We'll have to see about that. Either way, we should definitely be running the Monkey D. Garp, and then I would be able to hit Stussy more often, and that would make the whole deck feel more consistent for sure. Okay, that's the first change we definitely need to do. But then I'm also still a big fan of this idea of going with the 3-cost Bello Betty here, and maybe messing around with more cost reduction, or who knows what. I think this could be very cool, because what I was going to say before I just thought of Garp was I think I want to include this card into the deck, even over Morley. I think I favor this card's effect better than Morley just being an 8-cost. You know, he's like an 8-cost, 4-cost character. Excuse me, guys. But Bello Betty... Okay, see, now that might be a change we make, guys. Hang on. So if we go -2 of the Morley, we'll go -2 of this Sabo, and then we'll go +4 of Bello Betty, and then we'll get rid of this Searcher Bello Betty to go up the Garp. I'll go up the 1-cost red Garp, and from there, this can search up 3-cost or higher characters. So this replaces Bello Betty and can still search up this Bello Betty. Because if we were to add the red one back, then we can't search up this one. You guys see what I'm trying to say there? It could be super annoying. Let me just make sure. Yeah, this can search up cards other than Bello Betty. So maybe this would be the first major revision, and then I wouldn't necessarily have to go up to 4 Stussies in the list. I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. I know I'm going super greedy here with all of the searcher power. Maybe we can go -1 stage to go +1 of the 9-cost Stussy here and go from there. I don't know. This is probably my first wave of revisions. But again, I will say this. See, I'm torn right now because I want to go Ursa Shock. I just feel like... Because then I can just keep everything within the parameters of Revo Army. And from there, I can just have the Bello Betty in here. And who knows, maybe even mess around with the 10-cost character later on, the 10-cost Kuzan. Because that's another option we could have. Maybe instead of running this card and this card, let me just move things around. We can go back to Bello. Actually, maybe we should keep the Garp in. Hang on, guys. Maybe we should keep the Garp in. And then we go with the Kuzan. Let me bring up Kuzan. And go from here, maybe. But then I still wanted to add the Ursa Shock. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm just yapping. I've got a lot of work to do. Y'all bear with me. I apologize for how crazy this last part of the video is. Excuse me. Y'all are kind of getting to see inside the mind of a deck builder all the different things that start going through your head where it's like, wait a minute. If I go this, and this, then I can do this, and this. Oh, wait, but if I do that, now all of a sudden these aren't as relevant. And then I can go from here to there to there. I've got some work to do, but I've got some ideas to work on for next time. So there you go. Okay, so let me leave it like this, guys. This is the list we are running today. It ran completely fine, all things considered. The very first revision I would make, though, 100% would be -4 Bello Betty for +4 Garp, the Searcher Garp. That is the very first thing that I would do. Some people might say, like, okay, I'd rather get rid of these Captains of Symbols so I get more counter power in the deck. Okay, sure, I don't hate that. But I will say this, guys, like I was saying earlier, this fills up your trash very nicely. So it makes it where you can actually, you know, always use your... you know, your 8-cost Dragons effect to bring out these cards you want to from the trash. Either way, all right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Let me get the outro on here. I am done yapping for now. All right, guys, hey, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you are liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, you're helping me out big time. If you're using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. This community is amazing. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.